Okay. Hi, everyone. If you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. My name is May, also known as 3 Stitches Short on Instagram and Ravelry, and this is the Stitching Tendencies podcast. Today is June 18th. 2023. It is Sunday, and this is episode 10 of the 2023 series. Yay! It is Father's Day here in the US. I don't know if that's actually celebrated anywhere else, but to those who identify as fathers, Happy Father's Day. I hope you and your little kiddos, whether human or fur babies, have a fantastic day. This is actually take 2 because once again I had technical difficulties and my first attempt got corrupted. So wish me luck, cross your fingers, and hopefully this time will go better. This is my fun, tacky little fiber cast that I do from the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, where I live with my husband and our kids and all of our little animals. I've got a few finished objects, a few whips, and a lot of shopping, quite a bit of acquisitions. As my friends over at Needles at the Ready say, we broke the bank. Oh my god, it was ridiculous. I need to reel it back in. Reel it in, May. Reel it in. So let's see. I think that's the introduction. The date, who I am, what I do. Yeah. I swear, one of these days, I'm gonna know what the hell I'm doing. Like, it's gonna happen eventually. I'll sit down and I'll have everything planned and it'll be like an actual production. But until that day, you're gonna fumble around with me. All right, so let's do a little bit of catch up. It's been 3 weeks since I've last recorded, a little bit more because I last recorded on a Saturday and today is a Sunday, so it's been 3 weeks and 1 day since my last confessions. The last you saw me, I was heading out to the Great Lakes Fiber Show, which I did, and then that following Monday was Memorial Day here in the US. And then Tuesday I worked and I got sick. I got really, really sick. And I was basically in bed from Wednesday of that week until last Friday. Like literally the 9th was the first day that I started feeling better. And then on Saturday the 10th, I went to the Mid-Ohio Fiber Fair, and that was super fun. I met up with one of my fellow Love and Stitches members, and we did some shopping together. I met her sweet, sweet baby, and then I came home and I worked all last week. And when I work, I have to knit. My anxiety is too severe for me to not be knitting while I'm doing my actual job, which is great because I have a fully supportive manager, and she's like, what were you knitting today? I'm like, oh, I ran out of something. And she goes, yeah, I could tell. You should probably have a backup project. And so it's fantastic to have such a supportive manager. I love my boss so much. She's so amazing. But I worked all week and I actually got quite a few things. Well, not quite a few. I got 3, 4, technically 6 finished objects if you really want to count all the nitty gritty, but like 3 of them are same different, as Michael with Piece for Piece likes to say. So yeah, I guess like that's where I've been. I don't have any other news other than I am on the mend again and I'm doing better. Lilith has been doing her dance. We allowed her to do hip hop and tumbling for the summer. And Mr. Jacob, the teacher, is very, very kind and taking extra precaution in spotting her while she's tumbling. So that's great. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else going on. I have a very boring life and I love it. All right, what I'm wearing. This is going to be talked more about in my FOs, but this is the Basketweaver by Mr. Stephen West. And wearing a dress, so I gotta be careful. I am also wearing my Scooby-Dooby Zombody Dew socks, which were my May 2023 Desert Vista Dye Work socks. So yes, all the socks I knit actually get worn. Somebody asked me that. They're like, you knit so many socks, like, do they get worn? I'm like, yeah, they do. They go on rotation. And when I'm out of socks, that's when I do laundry. Well, that's when I do sock laundry because my socks are all hand knit mostly, and so I have to wash them separately. So yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. I've got my big, this is, I guess the brand is called Reduce. I'm just drinking ice water. And I think that's it. Finished objects, yay! Okay, so finished object number 1. It's a little warm, so I'm gonna get this talked about and out of the way. This is my Basketweaver by Stephen West. I knit this fingering held double on the recommended needles, which were, I used a 4.5 millimeter needle on fingering held double, and so the saga, I started this wool was like a sage color, and as I was knitting, like, I started realizing that when I dyed that wool, the colors broke. And they broke really badly. So like the whole middle section, I look like naked and like wrapped up in a towel. Okay, so the colors, they broke. And the middle of the shawl right around here was like super duper splotchy. And I got really upset and I didn't even want to finish. And then I was like, May, you can just over dye it. And so I went through and I continued knitting, and I went through 500 grams of wool, fingering held double, which is the equivalent of 500 grams of DK when you hold fingering double. So the pattern only calls for 3 skeins of DK. I used the equivalent of 5 skeins of DK and I ran out of wool. Like completely. I cut an entire basket section out. So each one, like these are like the small baskets, these are the medium baskets, and then you get down here to the large baskets. I had to cut an entire large basket 8-row repeat out, and I still ran out of wool. If you look on, yeah, I think it's this side, like the bind off is just a little bit, it's not coming through on that lighting, but the bind off on like a third of it is like just ever so slightly different in color. Maybe, can you tell? You can see like this is a little more green and this is a little more blue. It like transitions like right there. It's just a very subtle difference in the bind off, and it's because I scrambled and I had to find something, because I knew at that point I was going to over dye it. I just found something that was the same fiber content. So it was a 75-25. I think I used just a wee bit of a very light gray I had left over from my litmus cowl and a couple other projects I had used that wool for. And so I finished binding off, and then I got it to the dye pots, and my initial intention was to dye it black. I was just like, you know what? Black will over dye beautifully. It'll be fine. But when I went to actually do it, my daughter's like, no, mommy, don't dye it black. Black is boring. And I asked her, I'm like, okay, what do you want me to dye? And she said teal. And so because it was a green base, I used a little more blue in the teal to make it like a real tealy color. I didn't want to like put teal on top of green and have it come out super green. So I added and I mixed a little bit of turquoise into it so that it would really pop the blue teal side of the teal color. And I am in love. It is gorgeous. So this is my Basketweaver. This was a knit along that I did with some friends in one of my small knit groups, and it's done. I'm so happy about this. I could not be more happy about how this shawl turned out. I've been wearing it in the mornings. My daughter has used it as a blanket a few times because it's absolutely massive. Like, that's folded into quarters and it's still big. So I'm very, very pleased with this. I'm even more in love with it after it came out of the dye bath because it's just absolutely perfect now. So that is finished object number 1, and I love it. Okay, finished object number 2. These are knit on Misfits yarns in the Data colorway. It's on a 75-25 base, and these are shorties for my husband. I've noticed my cast on is just a bit too tight, and so for the ribbing I actually went up and I did 76 stitches for his cast on. I did his ribbing and then dropped it down to 72 stitches, which is what I normally knit for him. And they turned out great. They're easier for him to put on, so it's fantastic. For him, I do 10 rounds of ribbing and then 10 rounds of a leg, and then I do the shadow wrap heel, and then I do 60 rounds for the foot, and then I do the rounded toe, which was part of the Rose City Rollers pattern. However, it is no longer available on Ravelry, so unfortunately it's a little stinky. I use the stitch marker method to count my rows to make sure that these socks end up even. So there they are. I used pink on his because I wanted to use pink. I knit all my socks on a 2mm 9-inch circular needle, and I always do cuff down. That is just my preferred way of knitting socks. Okay, finished object number 3. This one is also a doozy. Now, I have not woven in the ends on this one yet. I'm probably going to do that today just to like fully finish it, but I am so excited this is done. This is the this is my new blanket for my craft room, which I will need even in the summer. Again, anyway, I will need this in the summer because my work desk is like literally right next to my AC. And even if I were to move my work desk, I'd still be like right next to the AC because this office has 2 AC vents in it, which is wild. So this is my new craft room blanket. I knit this using Karen latte cakes in the colorway Iced Leaves. And my goal was to finish this by the 15th, which I did. Last Tuesday when I got sick, this was where I was at. And then I got to about the 2nd or 3rd row in this teal color. And then I didn't touch it at all until Monday. Monday the 12th, I think it was. And so I was like right here on Monday, and I did all of this throughout the week, and I bound this off Friday night about 15 minutes before I got off. Like I finished the bind off and I had about 15 minutes until my shift was over. And that is just absolutely wild to me. I cannot believe like I did that much knitting. And then this was the last skein, and these are like 200-gram skeins for the Karen latte cakes. So like I did like a skein and a half of knitting on a blanket in like 1 week. Like that's crazy. It's so much knitting, and I only worked on this blanket while I was physically working my job. I did like half of this blanket in a week. That just blows my mind. I knit it on a 6.5 millimeter needle. And this is like, it's a really good sized blanket. Now I'm not gonna like get up and like show the whole big thing because it's taller than I am. Oop, I'm hitting the window. But like, if I stretch it, I can't even fit it in the frame. And like, look at that. Look at all of that knitting I did. That is wild. So yeah, this is going to live at my desk, and I'll just like, even folded in half, it doesn't fit in the frame. Look at it. Oh my god, I love this. So this is gonna sit at my work desk, and it is what I'm going to drape on my lap while I'm knitting whatever I'm working on, but also while I'm actually doing my job. So very, very pleased to have that done. This was one of like my big goals for the month, and I'm so happy I was able to do it like before I even hit the halfway mark. It was really cool. Okay, whips number 4, 5, and 6. I was in the dye studio. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I got back in the dye studio a little bit, and I knit up a few colorways. So this is what I'm calling Thunderstorms. It's a turquoise over-dyed gray colorway, so you get some real good tonal and some real good depth of shades in there when it comes to the that's a lot more blue than it actually is. It's a much paler color. Let me it's a beautiful, beautiful shade. It's got like teal, it's got like turquoise and gray in it, and I call it Thunderstorms. I got a little bit more of this dyed up because the last time I dyed it, you guys really, really liked it. So this will be going into the shop. I've got 5 skeins of it, because everything I do is very, very small batch. And I'm so super proud. This one is on my Logan base, which is 75/25 superwash merino nylon. And then I did a little bit more of the depressed peonies, which again is a over dye of, this one is pink and gray. and it's a lot more subtle. This one definitely reads a lot more gray than pink, but you can definitely see the colors in it. So I call this one Depressed Peonies, and it's so fun. It's very, very, like, I don't know. I love it though. It's very beautiful. And then finally, I am in a share a pair swap with the Love and Stitches membership. And I got partnered with somebody who has very similar taste as I do. And so this is what I came up with for us. It fades from like a very pale pink, and a very pale teal on the other side, down into like pinks and purples and a little bit of teal, and there's some green in it, and I absolutely love this colorway. Look at how gorgeous that is. Like, I think this is like my favorite one I've ever dyed so far. So what I'm gonna do is I have to I'm gonna send this, I send 50 grams to her and she sends 50 grams to me, and we're gonna knit a pair. Now the socks, the wool she's sending is 80-20. So I intentionally did this on the 85-15 base. So it's gonna be so super plump and yummy and just so good. I'm really, really excited for that. So these, and then of course, like, you're in there and you start dyeing and you're like, oh, I need one skein, and you're like, no, maybe I want a whole skein for myself, which turned into 5 skeins because I'm crazy. So I actually do have 5 skeins of this, and I really, really enjoy it. So that is my finished objects. There was a lot there, and it's kind of getting hot in here. I can't wait for my husband to put a ceiling fan in my office. That is going to just be so amazing. All right, so on to whips. I am gonna start with the one you saw me knitting. This is my Desert Vista Dye Works June sock challenge colorway, and the colorway is Hungry Hungry Hippos. I am doing a vanilla sock, but I'm trying a couple things new for myself, and this is actually a hoe. Look at that. So I got to like Friday night and I'm like, I haven't cast on my Desert Vista Dye Works socks and I kind of need to get those done. So I went into one of my little groups and I'm like, hey, anyone want to do a weekend sock challenge with me? And one of my friends was like, yeah, sure, I have to work on mine as well. I said, okay, great. I'm gonna try to do the whole pair this weekend. And they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, kinda. But I got the whole first sock and the cuff done last night on Saturday. So today I only have to do the leg, which, as you can see, I'm like almost done with. The heel, the foot, and the toe. So I am very confident that these will probably be done tonight. I am knitting, again, 9-inch circular 2mm needles on my Chiagu Littles. And then, like I said, I'm doing some stuff a little differently because I think when I found out that like my other socks were way too big, I think I swung too far in the opposite direction, and like these are wearable. These are my May Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and they're absolutely wearable. But I think I can make them better. So what I did this time is I did 20 rounds. Well, it was supposed to be 20, but I wasn't counting, so I accidentally did 21 rounds of 2x2 rib. And then I did 50 rounds of 50 rounds of leg. And then a shadow wrap heel. And then 55 rounds of foot before I did the toe. So longer cuff, longer foot. As far as stitch counts, similarly to my husband's, I wanted to give myself just a little bit more space. So I cast on 68 stitches for the cuff and then brought it down to 64 stitches for the leg. And then right before the heel, I brought it down to 60 stitches. And then I carried the 60 stitches through the foot and then my normal toe decrease. So that is what I did on these. And again, I'm using the stitch marker method to count my rows, make sure that they all end up pretty darn equally. So yeah, that is where that is. And these are actually living in one of my new acquisitions. This is a Knit for Brains bag. Are you surprised yet? Like, I have an issue. And it's how cute these bags are, because like every time she has an update, I'm like, oh, I'll take that. I'll take that. Thank you very much. And I am a firm believer that there's no lemon too sour to make lemonade with. So when she had a lemonade bag, I absolutely had to get that. All right, whip number 2. This is also living in a Knit for Brains bag. Look how cute that is. This was the bag that I went to the shop for when I found this. So it's all this bag's fault, which is totally fine, because anything Pride I am here for. So this is my Love is Love large wired frame bag. And in it is living my burgundy Rhinebeck panic sweater. So the pattern is No Need to Panic by Casapinka. I am knitting it on the 4mm needles required by the pattern, and I am knitting it. Oh, look how gorgeous that is. I love it. I absolutely love it. And what I really loved is because I did the right thing and I alternated, it kind of looks like a fade here because one skein was significantly darker, but because I alternated skeins, it fades into it. It's not a very harsh line, and that is what I absolutely love. And I didn't hit that like darker area until I got to like my 3rd skein. So this is where I'm at. This is already about 5 inches longer than the pattern actually called for when you unroll it, because it rolls. This is about 5 inches longer than what the pattern actually called for. I don't know about you, but I am pretty self-conscious of my mama pooch, and so I want this to go like fully around my pooch, and then I am going to put the ribbing. I think I'm going to do 3 inches of ribbing instead of 2.5, so that way it like cinches in really well, and like when I lift my arms, that doesn't come up. So this is the No Need to Panic sweater by Casapinka. This is actually the 2nd one I'm making. The couple changes that I did is I did the size 1 instead of the size 2, and I am not making this nearly as long as I made the first one. This one's gonna go, you know, just long enough to sit comfortably at my hips rather than going down past my bum. So and for those of you who have knit this, you'll notice that this section here is a little different than the pattern. That is just my own uniqueness. I try to make a little change to most patterns just so that it's not exactly the same as everybody else's. So This is, oh, I'm so excited about this. Then, oh, I should probably show you. This little peppermint, mint chocolate chip cupcake stitch marker, whatever it is where I was the last time I showed this. So in 3 weeks, I finished a shawl, I finished a blanket, and I finished the yoke and did most of the body of a sweater. That is so much, plus a full pair of socks, because you guys had not seen those previously. So that was a lot. And I am doing the Primrose Yarn Co. Oh, there's a hook there. Primrose Yarn Co. in the Rowan DK, and the color is Elderwood. And it is a beautiful, like, deep mauvey burgundy type color. It's definitely got like a pink undertone to the purple instead of like a red or a blue. It's very, very purple. Or it's very, very pretty. I can't speak. It's okay. Yeah, so, you know, I did the smaller size. It is fitting so good, and it's kind of hot, so I'm not gonna put it on right now. This is meant for me to wear in like the fall, but I will, if I remember, put a picture of me trying it on, because I love how much better this is fitting compared to the first one that I made. I am so super happy about that. And it's taught me that I don't want to go with my full bust measurement when selecting a size for something. I want to go with my upper bust measurement. I want to go with 0 inches, maybe 1 inch of positive ease in my upper bust, which is 40 inches. And then the general ease of the sweater will take care of the negative ease in the full bust. And I'm totally fine. I actually prefer negative ease in a sweater just because of how I like my clothes to fit. So very happy about this, very excited. I'm probably gonna try to finish this up in the next week or so. And I'm gonna be so thrilled to get this done. So yay. And then you probably notice I got stitch markers on this side because I count my rows. Like, I'm always counting my rows. I don't know if that's weird or not. It just helps me like have goals and milestones. Like, okay, today I want to do 10 more rounds on that sweater, and then it's easy for me to count because I've already got those stitch markers there. All right, so that is whip number 2. Whip number 3. Now this is also an I got a lot of bags recently. This is whip number 3. It is also living in a new bag. This is a Mid Mitten Designs bag. And I got this because, I hate to say it, I was using a bag similar to this when I was walking around the Great Lakes Fiber Show, and the way that it just kept spinning and twisting and like getting knocked around while it was attached to my purse is making it difficult for me to draw the string or draw the wool out, and that was really starting to frustrate me. And this was really the first time I'd been out in public knitting. This is the first time I was walking and knitting, and so I found these knot top bags, and I was like, yes, this is probably going to be great because I can literally just like put my hand through here and then I can walk and knit at the same time. And I was right, it worked great. All my problems for walking and knitting were solved, so I got a total of 3 of these. In this bag is my new cast on, I think. I don't know, did you guys see this last week? I can't remember. But this is the Love and Speckles colorway by the Little Wolf Knits. Look at that. It is pink and turquoise and teal and some purple. This was done by Brianna of Little Wolf Knits for the Love and Stitches membership, and they called it Love in Speckles. And I was very, very fortunate to win a skein, because this was back when I was trying to be really, 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 really good about not buying wool. So the fact that I won this skein was super, super awesome, and I really need to get back on the wagon. I don't know, I should be fine for the rest of the year, until I go to Rhinebeck in October, because that's a different beast of its own. But this is one of my groups is doing, not one of my groups, the main group that I knit with. They're doing a bralette free-for-all. And so I am doing the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Made Designs. And I have got the like hemline ribbing done. That's where I'm at. And I learned in this pattern, she calls it the Old Norwegian Cast On. It's the German twisted cast on. Like when you Google it, it's the same. It's the German twisted cast on. So I've done the required hemline, and I'm about to start the body of this. I think this is going to be vanilla enough. It is a ribbing, so I think as long as I get it like started in the proper ribbing before I go to work tomorrow, it should be vanilla enough that I can work on it, you know, because it's ribbing, but the whole thing is basically ribbed. So I should be able to work on this this coming week at work. I think that's what I'm going to do. I am knitting this on the called for needles, which is a 2.75 millimeter, which is a US 2. And that's what this is. Like, I'm really excited. This is going to be one of my very soon focuses once I finish that other sweater, and then the focus will be like really on this. Okay, and then my last FO. You saw this one the last time I recorded. I had literally just started. This is also living in a Mid Mitten Designs bag. Love these top knot bags. They're so cute. And this is what I am affectionately calling Hermione Smells Snow. The wool is I Smell Snow by Tippy Tree Yarn Co., who is a small dyer out of Colorado. I got this in a swap that I did last winter. I think it was with my Knitterino group. I can't remember, honestly. I can't remember if it was my Knitterino group or my Love and Stitches group. But I did the swap, and that was the wool I got. I cast these on like literally right before I went to the Great Lakes Fiber Show. Like that, the night before, because I knew I wanted something kind of vanilla to work on, but it's not really vanilla because I ended up doing a pattern sock. I did do 64 stitches in the cuff. I did 15 rounds in the ribbing here, and then I went down to 64 stitches, which is the pattern repeat in the pattern. But then around here, right before I got to the heel, I did a couple more decreases to get down to 56 stitches, because it's kind of a broken rib, which is going to give you a little more stretch than like just a vanilla stocking knit sock. So I went down a little bit more, and I am on the foot currently. Look at that. So I have a new sock ruler in the post that's supposed to be coming in the next day or so. So I'm really hoping that that comes so I can start measuring my socks a little bit more accurately. I'm hesitant to make the kids any socks until I have that ruler, just because I don't want to like make something that they can't wear. So, Again, this is a 2mm 9-inch circular Chiaogu needle. It's a sock. The pattern is Hermione's Everyday Sock, which is why I'm calling the socks Hermione Smells Snow, because Hermione's sock and I smell snow. So that is my last whip. Okay, so future cast-ons. I want to go back to my notes from last week. Okay, my future cast-ons from the last time I recorded were this sock and the bralette. So I've cast on the 2 future cast-ons that I have already talked about. I have finished one. I finished 2 of the works in progress from my last episode. And as far as my next cast on that I'm gonna do, Needles at the Ready and MYak are doing a Hohi knit along, which is super duper exciting. Now, I am not going to be able to financially afford to do this in MYak wool, but I do have a couple of Hohis that are already in like my lineup for this year. So I'm just gonna do one of those. I am gonna be doing the Pure Joy, which is a shawl by Hohi Locatelli. And I am gonna be using this, which is Copacabana by Arkansas Yarn Co. on the Yummy Plush. This was a Sock Yarn Society colorway I love so much. I had them send me a second whole kit. And then I needed a little bit more wool than the minis that came with it. So I have this for my contrast color. I think this is going to be a really, really fun, very, very summery shawl. And it is going, and this is called Her Name Was Lola. So Copacabana and Her Name is Lola. And this is going to be my Pure Joy by Hohi Locatelli. And I'm hoping to get this cast on pretty quickly. I'm hoping that the pattern, I'm hoping to get it like cast on and figured out, because I think the pattern is going to be vanilla enough that I'll be able to work on it while I'm at work. I hope. We'll see. But this is going to be one of my next cast-ons, which is actually part of my Make 9. Now, you guys haven't heard me talk about my Make 9 this year very much, but it is something that I think I am still working towards and trying to achieve. My Make 9, let me go to my queue here. So technically the pink Panic sweater was the first one completed of my Make 9. I have the Reborn sweater by Rachel Isley, the Dustland shawl by Stephen West, the Diagonally jumper by Fable Knitwear, Spotted Rays by Stephen West, Suburban Wrap by Hohi Locatelli, and Dark Academia by Sharon Hartley, Pure Joy by Hohi Locatelli, which is going to be this, and then Bean and Olive Grown Up by Andrea Mowry. So I have completed one of my Make 9s. The Pure Joy is going to be number 2 in my Make 9s. And then once I finish this Panic sweater, the pink one is actually going to be ripped out, and that is going to become the main color of my Bean and Olive Grown Up. So I am still working on these. They are still something that I am wanting to accomplish and trying to accomplish by the end of the year. How realistic is it going to be for me to make 1, 2, 3, 4 more sweaters and 1, 2, 3, 4 more shawls? I'm not entirely sure. But that's why it's a challenge, and we will see how it goes. If I continue with the way I've been knitting, it probably should be fine. So from my Make 9 list, my Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli is my next cast on. And that brings me to my next segment, I guess, where I talk about the cows, mals, and cows that I'm working on. Cow with a K versus cow with a C. They are different. I don't think I have any cows with a C currently. But let's see. Summer Sock Camp is underway. I have got my first, where did I put those? Oh, they're over there. The data socks are my first completed object in the Summer Sock Camp cowl. Those also count as a finished object in the Summer Splash Pad Party by Downseller Studio. So that's my first finished object for Summer Sock Camp. These are going to be my second finished object for Summer Sock Camp, because these are going to be done like tonight. And then my Hermione Small Snow Socks are going to be my third finished object for the for Summer Sock Camp. As far as the Summer Sock Camp is hosted by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady, and it goes from May 26th until August 30th. Summer Splash Pad Party is by Jen, also known as Boston Jen of Downseller Studio. And for that, my Basketweaver counts. Although you get a max of 200 grams of credit, so I'm maxing out the 4 points for that. My craft room blanket counts, and again, you only get 200 grams of credit, so I'm maxing out 4 points for that. My data socks count. My litmus cowl counted. So, I mean, I've got like 16 points there. I think this is my 16th point when I finish this. So that absolutely counts. And yeah, so that is the Splash Pad Party. You get 1 point per 50 grams of wool that you use for that. And you can knit anything, any pattern, any wool, any designer. There are some ways to get like some extra bonus points, but that's that one. My Basketweaver knit along with my Knitterino group, that is technically not over until the end of June, so some people are still working on theirs, but I am so happy to have that done. I am beyond thrilled. I've got a couple more things that I want to finish up, but I am excited to start more shawls. Those are so fun for me. And then my bralette free-for-all is the one that we started that on May 29th. So we started with Memorial Day. And then the only new cowl, like I've got one coming off and I'm adding a new one, and that is the Needles at the Ready MYak Joji knit along. And that is one I'm about to cast on for. That one started June 15th. So just a couple days ago. If you've already got a Joji pattern and wool that you're wanting to use, you can cast on immediately. The official cast on Zoom party isn't until July 7th. And this one is gonna go until like the end of September, I think is what I saw. So plenty of time to get a shawl done. Super, super excited about that. Now, that's it as far as the make alongs and knit alongs that I'm doing currently. As far as my June goals, I had 5 June goals. I finished my craft room blanket. I'm finishing my DVD socks today, and I finished my Basketweaver. The last 2 things on my June goals is my ripple bralette, which I've already cast on and I'm about to get to the body of, and then this sucker. This is my stretch goal, so I don't know if this is actually going to come to fruition because I think I'm going to update my goals. But this is my twist and turn shawl, which was the MYak from last year. Let me give you the front of it. Oh, it is gorgeous. It is beautiful and I absolutely love it, and I am going to pick this up. I just have to like figure out where I'm actually at. I think I have like 2 more of these wedge and stripe sections. So I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to get this done. But this is where I am at on this. And I've gotta get this kind of like taken care of because I definitely think I'm probably going to do the MYak this fall. I don't know. I might. This is the 2nd year in a row I've tried to do the MYak and I failed completely. Last year I finished it in May. This year it's June. It's halfway through June and I still haven't picked it up to finish it. But I have done a lot of other stuff, and I've done a lot of the vanilla stuff that I'm trying to like finish up. So my stretch goal, I think, is to still at least start working on this again, because that's not cast on, that's not cast on, that needs to be frogged and restarted. My whip tree is actually surprisingly bare. 2 pairs of socks, a bralette, and a sweater are my active whips, and this is like the last thing like that's like in hibernation. I technically have like 1 crochet blanket that I kind of sort of started, but like it's not an active whip. It's not something that I have like any sort of timeline that I want to get done. So like my whip tree is actually shrinking, and that's like a great feeling. So for this month, I definitely am going to finish both pairs of socks that are on the needles, and I'm going to finish my sweater, my panic sweater. And that's going to leave me with just the ripple bralette, which I have until Labor Day to finish. So I think that's what I have. So the bralette, yes, the bralette free-for-all goes from May 29th to September 4th. But we are starting a different knit along on July 1st. So I think I want to get that done this month as well. So I think my goal for the rest of this month is really to just finish those 4 whips. I've got 2 pairs of socks, a bralette, and a sweater. They're all like, the socks and the sweater are like very basically done already. I've just got sleeves and a hemline to do on the sweater. Socks are socks. Like that's a day project each sock if I really wanted it to be, and then I could really focus on that bralette. And if I get all of that done, then I will probably pick this up and really start working on this at least for the rest of the month until I have like something else pulling up to work on. But I also need to cast on my Joji my Joji Pure Joy. So that is kind of a really half-assed version of plans. Like I don't know what I'm actually going to do, but I want to finish everything that I have on the needles. Great plan, May. Okay, let's move on to my acquisitions. I'm gonna move this sock out of the way because it's kind of just been sitting there for me to knit on, and I'm not gonna knit right now because I'm showing you stuff. Oh, honestly, this is why like I really, really want to co-host, but I tried with my husband and he is just weird, so you guys don't need to be exposed to that. Like honestly, he made it weird. So No co-host for May. All right, so let's see. Acquisitions. May went fucking nuts. Like, wild. And I don't even know, like, it's been 3 weeks, so, like, I can see how this has been 3 weeks, but it's like, you got a problem, May. All right, so starting with my Arkansas Yarn Co. Sock Yarn Society. I got my little card that tells me everything that was in there, and the theme was You Glow Girl. So you got the Mason Jar Firefly Progress Keeper holder by, no, that's not it. This little Progress Keeper holder was by Arkansas Yarn Co. It's a cute little mason jar. There you go. Look how cute that is. And then it had a matching, like full-on matching Arkansas State Resin Progress Keeper. And I think what I'm going to do is put all of my Progress Keepers from Arkansas Yarn Co. on the same. This is really pissing me off. Sorry. Okay. My goodness. Okay. So I'm going to put like all of my Arkansas State Progress Keepers on the same little holder. I think that would be really cute. I really love these Progress Keepers. So I think it'd be really cute to have them all in one place and maybe just like hang this on my wall is probably what I'll do. Like that. It came with the Firefly Mason Jar Clay Progress Keeper by Sam's Tiny Trinkets, which is this. Again, super duper cute if it wants to focus. I think it's trying to find my face. It's not focusing very well. I apologize. But it is super, super cute. And I am not a lobster claw person. I don't like the way the lobster claws can snag the fabric. So I'm going to put this on a lever bag. I'm just going to change the hardware. And then this is going to be super cute for me to use as well. It came with a black light keychain, which not entirely sure. I'll probably just let my daughter have this fun little trinket for her to play with. It came with an acai berry stash tea. And then it came with the Jane Iredell primer samples. And it came with 2 of these little primers. So I think that's really cool. But most importantly, the wool. Oh my god, it is so cute. And yes, Lilith already claimed this. Woo. Look at that. It's got teal, or it's got like a turquoisey blue. It's got magenta and fuchsia. It's got like neon green and a little bit of like neon yellow from what I can see. So very, very bright, glow in the dark colorway. I don't think it actually glows in the dark. That would be really cool if it did. But it reminds me of like a rave and like all the glow sticks. So that is the Sock Yarn Society. Now, the Yarnable, this was really cute. They had a pollen party theme. And this came with the Vanilla Bean Lip Balm by Bella B. It came with a Sweet Honeybee Notions 10 by Twice Sheared Sheep, which my daughter totally like already put a bunch of stitch markers in. It came with the Bee and Honeycomb stitch marker set, which honestly, I think I'm going to turn these into earrings. I think those are so stinking adorable. I think they need to be earrings, like a mismatched set. I love that. And then it came with this cute little purple bag to hold everything. Okay. So then, put these in here. The wool for this month. Oh, look at this, guys. The colorway is called Pollen Party, which the colorway is usually the box theme name. And it is gorgeous. It's very periwinkly forget-me-not in like the base color. And then it's got beautiful like floral toned speckles. You get like some leaves, you got like some flower petal colors. Very, very pretty colorway. I absolutely love this. I don't know what it's going to be yet. But this was the wool. I apologize, my eye. Okay, so the last of my subscription box stuff. Ooh, don't let that fall. The last of my subscription box stuff, I got my Stitch Quarterly by Fat Quarter Shop. And it came with a wool pressing mat, which is kind of really cool. I've kind of wanted one of these, but they can be quite pricey, especially for like a good sized one. So I'm really excited to like try this out and see how it works. It came with the pattern for this month. Look how cute that is. That is so stinking adorable. And then it always comes with the embroidery floss with a needle. I've got like a bunch of those needles piling up. And then it came with this super cute needle minder. That is so adorable. I can't wait to put that on like my little board that I use. And then finally, look at this Ada. This is a 14 count Ada by Fabric Flair. And it is a beach setting. So when you put when you do the pattern on this fabric, you don't have to do the beach scene. You just do the house and the tree and everything, and like the scenery takes care of itself. And I think that that is just so super cool. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to start like dedicating a certain time period per week for my cross stitch, because I have learned very recently, especially with my anxiety peaking the way it has been, that knitting is not a hobby. A hobby is something that you do in your spare time. Knitting literally consumes my life, and that is not a bad thing in any way. I love it. But it does leave me in some ways lacking in what I want to do with other hobbies and other crafts. So like I don't sew nearly as much as I'd like to, because I'm like, no, I gotta finish this knitting project. I don't cross stitch as much as I'd like to. I've got several cross stitch patterns that are like in progress, and I don't work on them because I spend so much time knitting. And so I think what I need to do is one day a week, I just want to set a couple hours aside, probably while Lucy is napping, and cross stitch a little bit, just so I have just a little bit more than knitting all the time. I love knitting, so please do not get me wrong, but I want more. That sounds really selfish. I want more. I do all this knitting, but I want more. Okay. Lisa from, oh, this should have gone in the Cal's Mal's section, but Lisa from Knit All the Yarn is doing a Knit All the Felici Cal, or Mal, I guess, because she's allowing crochet and knitting. But I have never ordered Felici before, so I got myself 4 skeins. Now, this is called Poseidon, which I really, really love. Like, this is for me. This is called Arcade Afternoon, so it's probably going to be for my husband, and there's a knot in it, so I'll deal with that when I come to it. On a 50-gram skein, I don't really see an excuse for knots. Like, I'm sorry. That's really frustrating to me, is that there's a knot in this. Anyways, this is called Yipes Stripes. I think this is probably going to be for Lily. I might make some socks for her. And then this is called Night Market. And this is what I really, really like. So I might do this for myself as well. So I've got 4 skeins of Felici that are going to be for various family members. Just a shorties pair probably. And I'll get those done soon. Now, when I ordered my Knit for Brains bag, this one and the Pride bag, I also got, oh, look how cute this is. I love sunflowers. Sunflowers, daisies, and tulips are my favorite flowers. So, like, I saw these two at the same time, and I'm like, sunflowers and lemonade, yes, please. That is perfect for summer. Because I was realizing I don't really have very many summery project bags. I've got my autumn ones, I've got my spooky ones, I've got a few like winter ones, but I don't really have any summer ones, so I definitely got those. Excuse me. All right, and then Mustache Yarns. She got me. I went to Instagram one morning and I saw her Eras tour, and I could not afford thousands of dollars for Tay-Tay tickets. So the wool is the best I could do. So this is Eras by Mustache Yarns. For the longest time, I thought it was Mustache Yarns. I was like, is it a male dyer? It took me so long to realize it's Mustache Yarns. Like, you must have this in your stash. So this is the Eras Tour collection, and I'm so excited about that. And then while I was there getting this, I saw the Pink Floyd inspired ones, and I liked the way the rainbow looked in the prismatic for the Dark Side EPV version. So I did get that, and this is definitely going to be socks for my husband. Love it, absolutely. And if I have enough left over, I will probably do at least like the inside of a muscle burra for him. Like, that would be amazing. So this is what I got from Mustache Yarns. That is it as far as like everything that has come in from like other things other than the festivals I went to. This one's a little bit longer because I went to 2 festivals in the last 3 weeks. So please, please just keep that in mind. Yeah, so jumping in to what I got at the Great Lakes Fiber Show. Sorry, this window's like right by the street and like everybody drives by here. Okay, so you already saw the 2 other top knot bags that I got from Mid Mittens Designs. I got this rainbow bee bag from Mid Mitten Designs, and this is just, you know, a 3rd walking bag. I think that's super cute. I think my my socks are gonna mostly go in these because socks are something simple enough that I can do while walking. So this is that bag. I got, oh my gosh. So, I have got these, there it is. Okay, yeah. I got like a 5 or 6 pack of these little, it's teal on one side and like there's like a purpley color on the other side. It's like a 5 or 6 pack of these little stitch markers. Whoop, dropped my, losing myself. Okay, I got like 5 or 6 of those and they're all a set. And I got them by KB Gal Creations. And I was like, okay, but I need a progress keeper for those as well. So I went and got these really adorable little butterflies to use as progress keepers with those stitch markers specifically. And then I got these, kind of fell off the holder during take 1 of recording, but I got these really cute wrapped Amazonite stitch markers, and they were a set of like 4 or 5, and they came with this really cute little octopus. Look how cute that is. So adorable. And so like little joke, Lucinda, we call her Lulu Cthulhu, so a lot of like sea monstery type things I gravitate towards, and they will probably eventually become things for her. But the thing is, I don't need, 4 or 5 of these. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep them as a single set. Like I'll keep 1 stitch marker and 1 progress keeper together in my set. And then I think I'm gonna take the other 4 and I'm gonna make just a couple really cute little pairs of earrings. I think that would be so cute. So that is what I'm doing there. Let's see. After that, I went to Bewitched Pigments, and they had their Gemini colorway. And I had a niece who was born at the very first day of Gemini season. And so I grabbed this and I am going to be making her a little cardigan with hat for Yule this year. I think that's going to be super fun. And then I went to, I can't say this name and I don't know what the hang up is, Allegheny, Allegheny, Allegheny Fiber Arts. And I got, first of all, this bag. Look how cool that is. They're dinosaurs in the stars, guys. That is freaking awesome. I got this bag. It's a sweater size bag, and inside the bag there's the bag goes this way and then there's a pocket that goes this way. So you can separate your working wool from the rest of the project wool, and in the middle have whatever notions you need for that project. Genius. Absolutely genius. In fact, if I can get more patterns that I like, I will probably buy quite a few more of these because I love big project bags. And it's got this really cool removable thing. So if you wanted to put your stitch markers for the project, you could put them on this and then clip them in here and hold your stitch markers all in one place. It's really cool. So I got this bag, and then I knew that one of my intentions this year is to knit myself more summer and spring type knits. And so I got these 2 skeins. These are 90% Targhee, 10% nylon, and this is called Sal's Blueberries. And this is going to be a ripple camisole for myself. My camisoles I typically like really long, even though they'll bunch up on me. I prefer them to be longer, again, just because I'm self-conscious about that mama pooch. So there's that. And then I went to, I can never say this person's name, Callius Designs. I have shopped with her before. I got the Dolly Madison Sparkle colorway. Look look how sparkly that is. It's so cute. This is going to be a ripple camisole for my 8-year-old niece who is a cheerleader. So sometimes she just wants to like relax and dress down a bit. And so I think a ripple camisole would be really, really cute for her. And so I got this to make that for her. And then my girlfriend Megan, who I went with, May and Megan, that's funny. But she, being the terrible influence she is, not that, you know, I need any help, we, like, on our way out, we went to Supernova Dye Works, and I got 3 skeins of this color, and it is thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And that is a lot more pink in the camera than it is, like, actually. It's more of like a hot corally pink. It's got a little more of a coral color to it. And that is going to be like a summer tank top for myself. Like, or maybe not like a summer tank top, but like a summer shirt for myself. And I might wear like a longer camisole under it. Just because the summer tank tops and summer shirts all tend to be a little more cropped than I personally would like. But I found a pattern recently that I really, really love, and according to it, I have enough, and I'm going to make a top for that. So, you know, I didn't do too bad. I got 4 projects of wool, technically 5 if you separate baby Marin's, you know, hat from her sweater. But I got, you know, 4 projects worth of wool. And I already have everything in mind that I'm going to make. And I think mostly, you know, I went a little overboard with the amount of bags, but they were all bags that I definitely needed to add to my collection. I see your collection. If your father knew about this, you're not gonna tell him, are you? Name that movie. Okay, so I am going to be doing a giveaway, and the giveaway is going to be Name That Movie. If you can correctly name the movie that I was just quoting, put it in the comments below. And if you're right, you'll be entered into a giveaway. And that giveaway I'll announce in just a minute. Okay, so then I went to the Mid-Ohio Fiber Fair, and I did even more damage. So this was the last thing I purchased. I'm going a little out of order just because of how the bags are. Yeah, this one was bags, plural. But look at this. I have wanted to start spinning for a long time, and I don't know if I'm going to get a e-spinner or if I'm going to start with a drop spindle, but I really want to learn how to spin. So I got 1 braid, just 1, and this is called Summer Party. It is 100% Polworth by Fresh Lotus Designs. So this is going to be, from my understanding, Polworth is very, very good for new spinners to learn how to spin with. So, yay. And then I went back to Bewitched Pigments, and I got these 2 skeins. This is on their 80-20 set, or 80-20 base, and this one is called Witching Hour, and this one is called Ballot Magic. And these are going to be a matching hat and cowl set for my mother for Yule this year. And then we went to Dye Mad Yarns, and I got a skein of Pisces for my mom. This is going to be her Yule socks this year. And let's see, then there was a van on wheels, not a van on wheels, a shop on wheels, like it was a shop truck, where like you could get into the van and like go shopping that they had, and that was where I got in trouble, because this shop, and I cannot for the life of me remember Allison, if you are watching this, and because this is a shop I know that my friend Allison, who I met down there, and she shops there a bit apparently. Allison, if you remember that shop truck van shop that had the Lobby NMA, can you let me know in the comments, because I cannot remember that shop's name, but they had so much Lobby NMA, and I had never been able to get it. My local like shops don't carry it, and it's always been on my list, but I couldn't justify the cost to ship it from France, so I've just been going without. And now that I know there is a local-ish shop that has it, my wallet's in trouble. So I got these two skeins, which are on the 100% merino singles base, and these are going to be a hat and cowl set for myself, and depending on how much wool that takes, I might make a set for Lucy, because I've already got Lily's hat and cowl set like picked out for this year. So that is that. I got these really cute flamingo sock blockers. These are by Mylan Jedro. From my understanding, this is a Polish maker who like does these sock blockers, and these are beautiful. They are smooth and finished, and the socks, I've actually used these already. The socks do not like skip on them like they do from a previous maker that I had gotten them from. They're quite pricey. The mediums were $42 for this pair, which is very expensive, but worth it. I am probably going to start looking to get a few more pairs of these, because these are so cute and so fun and very, very high quality. So I got these. And then the last thing that I got was more than a sweater quantities of the Merino DK Lobby NME base. This is a Minanamu is the name of the colorway, and it is a purple base with some fun speckles in it, and I got a total of 8 skeins. I'm not going to pull them all out. I'll pull 4 out because that's all I can really hold, but I got 8 skeins, and this is going to be a sweater for my mom. Now, everything I didn't like about my first Panic sweater, she loved. She loved that it was oversized. She loved that the sleeves were pretty loose. She loved that it came down fully and covered her rump. Like, everything I didn't like about that sweater, she loved. But I couldn't give her that sweater because, like, I need that wool for a different project. So I got this purple color, and I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell my mom's favorite color? Like, yeah, she loves purple. So I got this purple, and I got 8 skeins just to make sure I could actually make it as long as she would want it to be. And that is going to be her sweater. I'm gonna make her a sweater. So that is basically all of the acquisitions. No, that's not basically all. That is all of the acquisitions. I did like 30 minutes of acquisitions alone because I went to 2 fiber festivals. Like, that's normal, right? And if it isn't, please lie to me. Raise your hand if you think that's normal, because I think it's kind of normal to have a shopping addiction in this society. I mean, it's hard not to have a shopping addiction in this society, so yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna take a couple more minutes of your time, if you please, reading and watching. So this month in my reading club, I did a book tacto, which is a 3x3 grid instead of a 5x5 grid like bingo is. Okay. And I'm actually kind of impressed with myself because I've already hit book tacto. I'm almost to my second book tacto, which is super exciting. So for my free space, I read a book called Wounded Kiss by Willow Winters. And that is a paranormal romance, and it was good. Like, literally read it in a night. Now, this was like a very short book comparative to what I normally read. I normally read 300 to 500 page books. This was only like 200 pages. So this was very quick for me to read. I read it in one night. It was beautiful. I loved it. And so that was like, I got on the board this month. I don't think I even got on the board last month. Like, it was that bad. And then I moved on to a different book. The second book I did was actually an audiobook. It was The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up. And that was by a man. I can't remember his name. Hold on, I've got the Libby app. There it is. This is by... This is by Mark Manson. And so this actually checked 2 boxes on my grid. It checked the self-improvement and the male author. So I used my 1 double dip for the month, and that gave me book tactile. That was great. Awesome. Then I was like, well, I already hit book tactile for this month, so I'm going to read something that I want to read, not necessarily to check a box. And so I picked up Gentle Scars, which is the second in this series by Willow Winters. And it accidentally checked a box. So the first one follows a human and a werewolf couple, and then Gentle Scars starts following a werewolf and a vampire couple, and the vampire, she is a person of color, which like wasn't even attempting to check that box, but I did, and I was very happy because that put me one step closer to another like book tacto, like, you know, you get the 3 and you like, yay, celebrate. So that is what I have been reading this month. I am still looking for an opportunity to fit the Crave series back into my rotation, but you know, I don't know if like when that's necessarily going to happen. Maybe next month. I don't think I'm gonna start it this month because I know there's no way in hell that I'm gonna finish a 500-600 page book this month. I think that one's actually 700 pages. Story graph. And let's see. So Crush is 737 pages. There's just no way I'm going to be able to do that. Okay. And I think that's it for reading. So watching, I finished season 5 of Mrs. Maisel, which I don't think I'd even started season 5. There's only 8 or 9 episodes a season. So I don't think I'd even started watching the 5th season of Mrs. Maisel. So I started and finished that, and that was the end of the series. And I did not know that. And it was a good ending for the series, for how like Amy Palladino, whatever her name is, likes to do things. Like, I've watched several of her shows throughout the years. But I wanted more. I could watch Mrs. Maisel forever. Honestly, if they have her in character do like a stand-up special, I think that would be really freaking cool. So I finished that. I started a new series called The Rookie, which follows a like 40-something-year-old man who has a midlife crisis after he and his wife get divorced. And he becomes a police officer very late in life. Like, the joke going is like he's the oldest rookie ever. So that is a very, very good show. I really enjoy that show, which was no surprise to my husband. I was talking to him, I'm like, I'm really surprised at how much I really like the show. He goes, why are you surprised? If it's a cop drama or a medical drama, you are all there for it. And I'm like, he's like, if there are sirens and alarms, you are there for it. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of checks out for me. So I've been watching The Rookie. I am on like season 1, episode like 15. I really like that this has like longer seasons. I think that's just because of the era it was made. I think this is an older show that I just got hip to. So we will see if that continues. I don't even know if the show is still being made. I just know that I started watching it and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I saw on the 28th, this was before I really started feeling ill, I went and saw The New Little Mermaid with my mother-in-law, my daughter, and my niece, my 8-year-old niece. And that is where the data socks came from. I needed something stupidly vanilla that I could knit while I was watching that movie. And that is like how I grabbed those, I wound those up. I literally did the cuff at dinner, and then I ended up having to do, oh my god, in the finished objects, I think I said I did the short round shadow wrap heel. That is incorrect. I did a cut and heel on those because there was no way I was going to do a cuff, a leg, and a heel before I went into the movie. So I just did the cuff at dinner and then like knit as much as I wanted to. And I did most of like the whole body of that sock at dinner or at the movie. And then like when the socks were done, I went back and did the heels. So those were actually cut-in heels. That is my mistake. I apologize. So I watched The Little Mermaid movie, and that is the last movie I went to see in the last 3 weeks because I had been so ill. I think that's true. Hold on. That's not true. That is not true. There was one day that we saw The Machine on May 31st, which I was sick, but I didn't know, like, I knew I wasn't like a contagious sick. The sick that I was brought on by one of my normal autoimmune related issues, so it was not a sick like I knew I was like going out and getting other people sick. That's not the kind of sick that I was. But my husband was like thinking, okay, maybe if we get out of the house a little bit, that'll just like help you relax and make you feel a little better. So we did go see The Machine on May 31st, and then we did go and see Spider-Verse on June 3rd. I'm like, no, I've seen more movies. The Machine was hilarious. I absolutely love that guy, and I can't remember Bert Kreischer. That's his name. Bert Kreischer. I actually showed my husband Bert Kreischer's stand-up back in like 2015, 2016. This is way back when we were still living in Arizona. And so I showed him that, and then this movie came out and my husband's like, we have to go see it. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go do it. And then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, that was strictly for my husband. I was really not feeling well that night. And the animation in that movie actually made me feel quite ill, so I kind of took a nap. I hate saying that. Nothing against the people who made the movie. My husband loved it. Just the animation style was a little too much for me. So, but tonight we are going to go see Rise of the Beast, which is a prequel to the Transformers movies. For those of you who were like younger, when the original movies came out in like 2005, this is actually a prequel to the Shia LaBeouf series. So that is super exciting. My husband's been very excited for this, and we're gonna go watch that. All right, so wrapping things up with a giveaway. Yeah, I still have not heard from the giveaway winners of the last two. And I made an attempt to go back to those comments and like try to redraw a winner, but my little pea brain couldn't figure that out of how to like get all of those comments together. And like, yeah. So I'm very sorry those people have forfeited the giveaway, and we're gonna try another giveaway. As I was saying previously, if you can name the movie that I was quoting, put it in the comments and you'll be entered in the giveaway. The giveaway is going to be this beautiful skein from the Yarnable box. It's called Wildflowers, which I'm pretty sure was the June colorway last year. It's got really pretty pinks and greens and yellows, and it is a gorgeous colorway. If you would like a chance to win this color, put the movie that was in the comments below. Okay. Speaking of comments, I love reading the comments everybody leaves. If you have any questions for the podcast, please leave those below. I love responding to those or answering them. Do the algorithm-y things for me. Please, please, please comment, share, like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get a notification when I podcast again. And until next time, knit responsibly. Bye, guys.